My friends, we gathered here to finally start the Halloween content. And because we themed the birthday of my friend that had her birthday in August, this year around whimsical gothic witch stuff, you already see I did a lot of things. And I will show you how I made them. For the lanterns slash candle jars, I used crafting glue, paint and water in a roughly 1 by 1 by 1 ratio for everyone who wants to copy this. So nobody. Yeah, I mixed that up thoroughly by shaking it, and then I coated all 3 glasses I wanted to use from the inside. I had to repeat this, I think 3 times it was. Then I had a roughly opaque color. And yes, this is first of all rather messy, and second of all, you have a lot of leftovers. Still like the method, but be aware of that. I put the jars upside down so the color can drop out of it, and I had color everywhere. But it looked nice. Yay. Just to say it, I worked from a picture that was sent to me by the friends I planned the birthday with. So I have no idea who originally had this idea. I can't be open about that, but in the original there also were glasses covered with lace and some cameos on the outside, I think. Yeah, I think. So the design part I basically stole from them, whoever it was. To attach the lace to the glasses, I used a fabric deco hardener stuff that you will see come up a lot more often in these videos. Yeah, that led to the lace being quite firm on there, which was exactly what I wanted. What a surprise. Yeah. It was fairly tricky to get the lace all over the edge on top and under the bottom, but with a lot of adhesive glue thingamajig, it then worked, so yay me. Oh, and one other thing, I did try my best that the lace was only glued on the inside of the fabric, so that it was still slightly soft to the touch. Was that necessary? No. But I wanted to have it still look like fabric and not be glossy through the deco hardener. It was annoying, just to say that. To measure the circumference, I used some satin ribbon because I have tons of that. And yeah, I found these rhinestone things, ribbon things, on Temu, yes. And no, I'm not sponsored or affiliated. I have to admit, I just like it. I'm so sorry. Yeah, but I cut those to size and then just glued them onto the glass, on top of the lace. And I did my best to line up the line part where it is open with the part where the lace meets. Because I wanted to glue some pendants exactly there to cover up most of the seam. And I found these cameo ones, or cameo looking ones. I just removed the thing that makes it able to attach to a necklace, sanded them down, glued them in place, and after that was dry, I put in some candles that are color changeable with a remote, and I have to say I think they turned out quite pretty and they looked very fabulous on the table. I really have to say that. I did really like it. For our second craft, the leftover glass thingamajigs, I mixed some glass paint and covered the outside of the bottle with it. I did 2 layers, I think, and for these, because they are supposed to be old and worn down and everything, it was not that bad that it was as splotchy as it was. But otherwise, if you want to use glass paint for anything, use quality one. I used very cheap one because of that reason. I couldn't be bothered. It was okay if it looked messy. I was lucky enough to find some sticky or sticker labels online that I really liked. If you don't find something like that, you can always make your own. And then it was time to decorate the top. First I glued a fairly large skull bead that I had laying around onto it, and after that was securely dried, I took out the epoxy sculpt and sculpted some braids and just some decorations, and you can go wild on the tops. I used so much stuff already. In other bottles I used casts that I made with resin that I didn't use, and added some epoxy clay as well. Your options are endless. That's very nice about it. And this is the one craft I did before because I wanted to have some Harry Potter bottles. Or potion bottles in my craft cabinet, so it looks a little bit more magical, Harry Potter-ish. Yeah. Did I say that I am strange and a nerd? I think so. To everyone's surprise, the next step is, after that is dry painting it. What a huge surprise. I did put on a bit of silver in the end as well, just to give it a bit more variety, because the purple I mixed up was fairly dark and not that big of a contrast to the black, so I used some silver as well, and I really do like to use some metallic paint on the lids. If you like your bottle to look like this, just put on a varnish to protect your work and you're done. I normally do a wash afterwards, and first of all you have to let this paint layer dry completely, and then the wash. What is a wash, for everyone who doesn't know? It's a mixture out of water, dish soap and paint that will sink into the crevices. In most of the sculptures you do, you just really just want it in the crevices. Here in this case I wanted to stain the bottle from the outside so the bottle looks dirty and used. And after that is dry, I then put on a layer of varnish, and I use a matte varnish normally because, again, I want this used and old look. And with a matte varnish, you get this effect a lot better than with a shiny one. What a surprise. And when done, it might look something like this. Or, if you did something different, maybe like these. So, you have options. And I think it's quite a nice way to store your stuff while looking quite decorated. I found this glass with the wooden lid in the kind of dollar store. We don't exactly have something called dollar store, but you know, cheap stores. I put 2 holes in it and made a stand out of it by using wire from a coat hanger. And yeah, basically I made a saddle stand out of it. Saddle stand means that you have this thing that grabs into the crotch of your doll and keeps it in place. Yeah. Because I already knew what I wanted to do. And it's hard to describe. The picture that was in my head was a mixture between a voodoo doll witch fetish shrunken head thing. It was quite the funny hybrid. But I really liked the result. For this I made a skeleton out of aluminium wire, and this time we can use the softer one because it doesn't have to carry anything. Yeah, I made sure that it will fit into, first of all, the glass, and second of all, the stand that I made. Then I bulked it up a little bit with aluminium foil and started sculpting. I used some oven baked clay, so polymer clay it was, and for the eyes I had this idea because the whole head part is quite a lot inspired by shrunken heads, and I did do the mistake of googling that. Not nice. Yeah, but in the end I put in some black beads and formed the eyelids on top of it. On the most hats I saw the eyelids were closed, even stitched closed, but I thought, why not have it gape open just a tiny bit, so that if you look at him in detail you can see the reflection of the light in his completely black eyeballs. Yeah. Recording this sentence is interesting. But anyway, then I went on with sculpting him and making him look as grumpy and as annoying as possible, because I had this picture in my head of a very annoying little fellow that comes to life and is pissed all the time. Don't know why. It doesn't make him any better, but in the end I kind of love him. I think he looks fairly hilarious and so grumpy and kind of disgusting and cute at the same time. Did I say that I'm strange? After I was done sculpting, I took out the pan pastels to give him a interesting coat of paint. All the shrunken heads I saw were, tiny, shriveled, and fairly brown, so I decided to put on a layer of brown on top of him and call it done with the paint job. And I really think he looks like a shrunken head in the end. Kind of disgusting, kind of funny. After he was baked and cooled down, I then took out some embroidery thread to, use the little holes I made to glue his mouth and eyes shut. I decided to not close them completely, but to leave some sticking out, so it looks like the threads have torn open with time. As soon as that was glued in place and halfway cured, I then decided to shred some cotton into stripes as kind of bandages. Because of the voodoo doll thing, I decided to glue some faux hair onto it, and took one strand of the hair and wrapped it with a bit of ribbon to use it later to attach somewhere to get the voodoo thing across as well. Then I took the shreds of fabric and wrapped it in them completely. I just did a wild wrapping and putting fabric clumsily everywhere. I was not willing to do that neat because I wanted him to have a mummy-esque and old and shriveled and disgusting look. And because obviously that was not able to be achieved without a paint job, I then took out the washes that I had until then and gave this little critter a fairly disgusting paint job by just dropping paint everywhere to stain the clothing and make it look as old and ugly as possible, and I love him. I think this thing turned out so great. It sounds so strange, but I really was a little bit sad that I had to give him away. Then I painted the stand black, the wooden part, just to have a cleaner look. And with that, my little fetish doll was done and was looking so great. I had to tie him to the stand because the stand did not work as well as I thought, but I think he is quite hilarious. And with that, the first video in the Halloween 2023 series is done. I hope you did enjoy this crafting video, and we will see us in the next one. Until then, bye.